Okay, after we fixed the mainly problem of the color and decided to get one color scheme, we will keep going with this. In this case, what I want to start doing is removing the dress wrinkles. For this, we will do frequency separations. But part of this, if we do this in this way, is we will not be able to go back to this color correction, because if we do the frequency separations over, we kind of lost these transitions or color corrections. So for this, let me do it below the color correction so we can have this color at the very top. For this, I will do a common frequency separations. I will stamp all the visible layers in one layer. I will duplicate it. This will be for the texture and the bottom will be for the color. I will turn the texture layer off so we can see how much of the texture we will remove. This dress in particular doesn't have texture. It's more like a silky dress. So we have few options in here. The good part is, depending of the radius we select in the frequency separation, we will have the wrinkles in the texture layer. So let's try different things. For example, first, I would like to work with filter, blur, and surface blur. In here, let's see if we can find a radius for remove most part of the imperfections. What I don't want is to contaminate where the dress ends and the arm begins, for example. So we will need to find a sweet spot between the threshold and radius. Maybe something around here. Let me see if we can increase the radius and get something better. Okay, with these small imperfections, will be in the texture layer, and we will only preserve in the color layer the wrinkles you are seeing right now. So this, and not that much, maybe in here, but most of the wrinkles will be kind of be only visible in the texture layer. So if we do advance with these settings, we will need to fix all these small imperfections or use a layer mask for hide this texture in the layer mask, in the texture layer. So let's advance with this, and then we will see if we regret doing the exactly opposite, or we willing to have done the opposite. I will go to the texture layer, I will go to image, apply image, I will select the color layer, subtract in blending mode, scale 2, offset 128, and blending mode to linear light. I told you a few times when you do a frequency separations, it is a good call to do not affect the parts you don't want. In this case, what we want to do not affect is the background, so let's select the subject. And then we will group these together. This is the frec separations. And let's use a layer mask. And now I will work inside here. So everything in here will only affect the white part in the layer mask. Let me turn on this. It's too magenta. I mean, I like it, but it's too magenta. So kind of do not like it. Okay. Let me turn off the text layer so we can be able to work in an empty layer with the brushes we want. For this, I will start using the regular healing brush for remove these imperfections that are only visible in this under the texture layer. So let's start doing something like this, then we will go closer to the edges. Maybe we don't want to remove all the wrinkles in here because it gives us a good feeling of volume. So maybe we only want to fix some of these, not all these. Same in here and in here. Let's leave that alone for the moment. As we can see, we do not have a lot of texture. Do not go too close. Okay. In here, we can use just a regular brush or the clone stamp tool. Kind of soft edges. Remember the shortcuts. I'm doing a terrible work in here. Let me go to the regular brush. I don't like the color. Let me change the sample to something smaller, maybe. Something smaller. Better. Too saturated, but kind of works. I don't want to affect the arm. Better. Okay, that is gone. We should go to the bottom part, maybe. Let's do first the big ones and then we will decide. See, working this is really easy. You don't need to worry a lot. This is the good part of the frequency separations. Let's work in here. Let me rotate the image. And also let me do a quick selection of the arm because this will save us a lot of time. It is amazing how this tool got broken in the last updates. It used to be really, really easy to use and precise, and now sometimes it's giving you really bad moments. I will fill with black this selection. I will deselect the selection and come back again to the brush and the color layer. What I want in here is kind of select the shadow tones and then paint. How much? Till I remove all the wrinkle. Let me go back to the frontal position, to the straight position, I'm sorry. We can do this more rounded, so I will go further away, something like here. I don't want it perfect, I want it clean. Too much. Let's go a little farther away to have a better look. Okay, I like it. Let's remove these and let's reshape the leg, only painting. Let me increase this shadow. And let me oh, this is too much. This is too much again. I'm just painting with light and shadows, selecting the tones from the same image. That's all. What I want is smoother transitions. That's all. When we turn on the texture layer, we will see all the wrinkles we isolated in that layer, and we will be able to continue working that. Don't worry. Do we want to also remove this? Maybe? I don't know. It's a question. I'm not sure. But I want to remove this for sure. Okay. So as you can see, this part of the work is mostly painting, like just painting. I will create an empty layer. Another thing Photoshop will appreciate is when you use the healing brush or the spot healing brush, not in the same layer you're using soft paint brushes or soft painted areas. For some reason, the healing brush tool and the spot healing brush tool doesn't do a really good job when you have painted by hand with a brush. It should, but in real life is not working. So maybe if you did paint by hand with brush like I just did, you will want to keep working over that painted areas in an empty layer. Otherwise, you will end up with funny edges around the areas, like really unpleasant edges. Okay, let's turn on the texture layer so we can see what else we need to do. I'm sure it's a lot because we did select a big radius or preserve a lot of the imperfections, the wrinkles in the texture layer, but maybe we will trick the thing using just a layer mask. As we expected, we preserve a lot of the imperfections, texture, wrinkles in here. So we will need to take a decision. Of course, if we have selected a really small radius, when we have done in the frequency separations, all these wrinkles um, will be in the color layer instead of the texture layer. I know I told you that we will regret, or maybe we will regret about the decision, and I wanted to show you this. I know I'm kind of showing you the things that you should not do, and maybe you feel like you lost an hour watching me paint, but the reason of this is that one. I don't want you made the same mistakes. If now we want to remove all the wrinkles, we should work one by one in the texture layer. It's kind of boomer, but if we use a layer mask and just paint with a brush, black brush, for hide it, what we will do is hide all the texture, all the wrinkles we do have in the texture layer, and this will be like this. The good part of this is we can decide which one we want to leave or left visible, and which one you want or we want to remove. Maybe you would like to see how it looks with a different value. In fact, I could do it pretty easily, because the good part of this is we do have all the painted saved. So let me paint in here. I'm just hiding the texture in this layer, that's all. Just be sure to do not touch the skin, and that's all you need. For this, I will select, if I can, I will select the arm. Well, this is good enough. And I will invert the selection pressing Command Shift I. Let me paint with black. So we did delete the texture from most parts of the dress. I want to preserve this highlight, so I will paint again in here. and I want to remove this. Okay, what else we need to do? Maybe we need to paint with more black. Let's see if we can take a look of the underwear. And for this, first of all, I want to take a look of the image in black and white. As you can see, when we see the image in black and white, we can see a luminosity difference. We can fix the luminosity difference. Well, we can do it in the frequency separations, or we can do it using Dodge and Burn as well. Let me see if it's easier to do it. I think in here will be, in the frequency separations will be a problem. So instead of doing this in the frequency separations, I will do it over with Dodge and Burn. All right. Also, we could remove this line, right? And this is kind of too visible. Let's make this transition. The selection is really bad. Okay, we will have time for that later, because if you see me working this pixel by pixel, you will hate me. Let's fix the underwear. Let me do luminosity increasement curve. We can set it inside here, why not? This is part of the corrections. Let me see a little better. And what I want in here is just smooth the transitions in the luminosity with the underwear. Then we will need to fix the color, but something like let me decrease the luminosity in other parts. We will take care of the natural shape later. This is the burn, this is the dodge. Okay, now we should take care of the tone difference maybe. Now it's more disguised. Let's set one layer in color blend mode. And let's be sure the underwear part is not visible through, and we have the same color. Or at least it's not really visible like this, right? We want to have something more natural. Let's create or add more color in here using a curve. For this, I will add some magenta, a portion of blue, a portion of light. I will invert the layer mask and I will paint. It's too red, so we need more yellow. The transition now looks more natural. There is one thing I do not like, and is this big shadow in here. I feel like it's not blending well. For this, we can work well with just a brush tool. to get something like this, remember to remove this from the arm. Okay, maybe the belly could be different, more. Hmm, I do not like it what I have done just yet. Yes, this shadow is too much. Okay. Let's work the skin in the old-fashioned healing brush, and that's all. Healing brush and then Deutsche Bronze. She does have a really good skin. What we will want to remove is some part of the grayish in the eyes. But let's do that in a different video, so it's not too long for watching. I'm seeing if we need to remove any. Oh, no, I need to do this in a different layer in here, otherwise I will regret later. I will regret later if I do it in the wrong layer, so let's come here. All right. This is a good example for showing you what happened when you in here. If you can see, hopefully you can see, when I paint, the healing brush is leaving an edge, a white edge around. If I do paint in an empty layer, it's not. Remember I told you a moment ago, the healing brush works funny when you do have painted with the brush in that layer. That is what I wanted to tell you. Okay, let's stop this around here. So in the next video we will work the skin and also increase the sharpening, and then we will find a good color tone that we like for the overall image. Let's say color grading, luminosity, etc. See ya.